Yeah, good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So yeah, thank you guys for joining us. I'm sure others will join us as time progresses. This is the Speak for Health series where we will be having various medical professionals join us on here a couple times a month to talk about various, health issues and provide you with skills and knowledge within the medical field. And today is sponsored by the Junction, which is Arogya Seva's menstrual health initiative to bring together individual and collective menstrual health initiatives. And so I would love to welcome Dr. Pooja here with us today. I'm going to give a brief introduction about her. Dr. Pooja completed her MBBS from Stanley Medical College, Chennai, and subsequently received her DNB from the National Board. Dr. Pooja is a certified laparoscopic surgeon and has a keen interest in laparoscopy and minimal invasive surgery. She has been practicing medicine in Bangalore since 2015 and has been working with Cloud9 since 2016. So thank you so much, Dr. Pooja, for joining us. Dr. Pooja is here to do a menstrual health Q&A, a women's wellness Q&A with us. So before we get started, Dr. Pooja, is there anything you wanted to say?
Yeah, I'll just share my brief presentation so that they can just go through it, and then we are open for question and answers and whatever is the doubts and this thing, the queries and this thing. Autumn, I'm not able to share my screen.
At the bottom should say share screen. Is that not visible?
Yeah, no, but I think you have to make me also a host, otherwise it's showing it's disabled.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry for the brief delay.
Let's see that you should be host now. That you should.
Yeah. Now I should. Right. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, this is perfect.
Yeah. So once we start talking about menstruation and menstrual health, there's a lot of the taboo related to this topic. It's like embarrassing, and more people don't want to talk about it. So first we have to come out of that, and then speak about it and have all your doubts cleared, so that if somebody comes and asks a query, because I'm sure many people would approach you guys also for a lot of this thing, small queries, and which may be a big thing for them. So maybe you'll be able to clear their doubts, that this is a natural process of our body. One second. It's a visible manifestation of cyclic physiologic uterine bleeding due to shedding of the endometrium. This is how this is generally a normal menstruation is. The cycle is on an average of 28 days, but it can vary from 21 to 35 days. Duration generally is 3 to 5 days, but it may last up to 7 days. The amount of blood loss is 60 to 80 ml, usually no clots, and associated with mild pain. This would be a little interesting, this thing. There are some myths and the related fact to it. The myth is sanitary products should be kept private and covered in paper when purchasing. But the fact is, it's like buying a soap or a toothpaste. They're all personal hygiene products. And girls having their period should sleep in a separate shed or a different room. But the fact is, menstruation is not contagious and causes no harm to anybody else in the same room. The myth is food Foods like curd, tamarind, and pickles disturb the menstrual flow. The food you eat actually does not decide the flow of your periods. And another myth associated is girls having their periods should not touch or go near plants. The plants will die if they do so. But the fact is, plants do not discriminate. They thrive on good care, like all of us, irrespective of with whom they are coming in contact with. The myth, another myth is during their periods, girls are impure. Girls having their periods should not cook or visit temples or the religious places. But the fact is, periods are just nature's way of saying that you are growing up. There's nothing impure about it. Uh, Another myth is a girl should not talk about her periods in public. If she does so, she will be shamed publicly. But then when we don't think twice before talking about our hair or about our eyeliners or about our nail paints, why talking about periods is considered so different? Any One more myth is any form of physical activity can disturb the menstrual flow, but the fact is exercise and playing sports can actually help relieve pain. These are some of the restrictions on a menstruating girl. These are some of the symptoms a female may experience just before her periods, that is premenstrual syndrome: bloating, breast swelling, pain or tenderness, mood changes, headache, weight gain, changes in sexual desire, food cravings, trouble sleeping. And these are some of the symptoms when they may have when they are actually menstruating, which includes cramps, tender breast, bloating, mood swings, irritability, headaches, tiredness, low back pain. These are some of the uh, products which we can use during menstruation: cloth pads, the normal sanitary napkin, menstrual cup, tampons. If anybody has any questions, please you can ask me. How often to change a sanitary napkin? We should change at least once a day. Changing every 6 to 8 hours is recommended. During heavy menses, may need to change every 3 to 4 hours, and do not keep till it's completely soaked. If somebody is using cloths, ensure that clean, soft, dry, and absorbent cloth is used. In case it is being reused, it must be washed thoroughly and dried in private but sunny place. After drying, if possible, it should be ironed and it should be stored in a clean and dry place. Do not share this cloth with if anyone. Why it is necessary to dispose of sanitary napkins? If they are left in the open, they are a sore site, of course, may lead to the transmission of infections like hepatitis B and C, and will attract flies and insects, of course. I think all of us know this thing. There is a very a low awareness on menstruation because according to a study which was conducted in 2014, 70% of the menstruating mothers considered menstruation as dirty, and 71% of adolescent girls remained unaware of menstruation till their first period. I mean, they didn't know anything like such thing exists till they attained puberty or till they got their first cycle. As you can see, the state-wise this study was done. Menstrual Hygiene Day is an annual awareness day on 28th May. that aims to break taboos and raise awareness about the importance of good menstrual hygiene management. These are some of the important things regarding menstrual hygiene. The women and girls should have a clean material to absorb or collect menstrual blood. The material can be changed in privacy and as often as necessary for the duration of menstruation. Soap and water can be used for washing the body and any stained clothes as required. And there should be access to facilities for disposing of used menstrual management materials. This is actually what needs to be done, menstrual hygiene management. This is where the action needs to be. There are opportunities for action in in menstrual health and hygiene. We should like the knowledge has to be improved about the awareness of menstruation. Innovate to create a new range of menstrual products. Increase menstrual product access. Account for menstrual health hygiene needs in the design of wash solutions and addressing the stigmas and taboos related to menstruation. Yeah. Autumn? Yeah, anybody has any questions?
So I'm just curious, just to get a sense of what kind of participants we have in the room right now. Are if I could just hear, if are some of you menstrual health educational volunteers yourselves? Are you frontline workers? Are you just curious about menstrual health? If we could just hear where people are coming from, I think it will be helpful. Okay, I think okay, Lavina is asking how can she improve her cramps, her cramping issues.
Lavina, do you have cramps like pre-menstrual or during this thing? During the menstruation? During, okay. So this thing like you can improve your cramps problem by regular exercising, having plenty of liquids, and having a very healthy diet which comprises of lots of fruits and vegetables. I'm sure this problem would definitely come down with all these three. Exercising is a regular exercising schedule is very important.
What would you say would be the most important things for women to keep in mind to have like a healthy and balanced menstrual cycle? What could be some recommendations that you can give?
Sorry, Autumn, your voice is breaking. Sorry, I didn't get your question.
I said, what are some methods or tips you could give to women to maintain a healthy and regular menstrual cycle?
Yeah, that's what. I mean, the main thing is the irregularity in the menstrual cycle is due to hormonal imbalance in our body. Uh, some people might have some minor hormonal imbalance. Some girls might experience some major hormonal imbalance. And one thing is thyroid issues also. So that is also related to the hormones also. But one thing what we can do is to maintain a very healthy lifestyle, which will include regular exercise and having plenty of liquids, and as much as possible, like reduce the junk food to the minimum and have a very healthy diet which comprises of lots of fruits and vegetables. I'm sure if we follow all these 3 4 things, these are very basic things, but if we follow this on a regular basis, I'm sure will not like anybody will have any problems unless until they have any uh, major issue in any of the reproductive organs. But minor hormonal imbalance gets corrected 99% by these 3 or 4 basic things.
Awesome, thank you. And Dr. Naram, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, is asking if bleeding continues for days beyond the normal duration, what could be the problem?
Okay. Hello.
Am I audible?
No, Autumn, the audio went in between. Probably they can write down the questions. I'm able to see. Yeah. So I don't know. There is some problem with the connectivity.
If you're able to hear me now, Dr. Naram,
Yeah. Better.
and I
Much
apologize if
better.
I'm
Yeah.
pronouncing your name incorrectly. She's asking if bleeding continues for days beyond the normal duration, what could be the issue?
Yeah. We need to especially funds like if they are like starting of the this thing starting of the menstrual, like newly attained their puberty, the young, especially the young girls, for them the cycles may be heavy and prolonged. And one thing is when they're approaching menopause, that is around the age of about 42 to 52 years, when they're approaching menopause, cycles can be very heavy. So those two are because of the hormonal imbalance. The when the young girls bleed for a very long time, it is okay for us to wait for about 1 or 2 years for the menstrual cycle to regularize. Uh, uh, like she should not bleed too much so that she becomes anemic. So the blood, I mean, we need to evaluate. They should visit a doctor and get themselves thoroughly evaluated. One can be low hemoglobin can be a reason for prolonged cycles, and the number, like the more number of days a woman bleeds. And the other issue is there can be some this thing, the imbalance in thyroid levels in the body, or there could be any this thing, any space occupying lesion, like something in the uterus, like a fibroid uterus, or there can be some cyst which is causing a hormonal imbalance. So one needs to get evaluated thoroughly, starting with the blood test and a basic ultrasound scan, and which will clear the picture. But in us Indians, anemia is also a major cause of low hemoglobin, that is anemia is a major cause of this thing, prolonged bleeding and heavy cycles.
Dr. Pooja, is
Yeah.
there anything nutritionally, as far as iron goes, that women need to be aware of when bleeding does continue for a long period of time?
Yeah, if the cycles are, the prolonged cycles are getting repeated, I mean, if it's there like once in a while, it is fine. Like, first time if you have a very lengthy cycle, or you get your next periods very early. If it's once, it's okay. We just wait and watch. But then if it's continuing for 2 to 3 cycles, it's better you visit the doctor and get your basic blood workup done and a basic ultrasound scan, which will help us to find out if there is any reason for the prolonged heavy cycles. Yeah. About painkillers, I would say if the pain is really heavy and troubling you, and probably it's hampering your work, you can take 1 or 2 painkillers a day, but not more than two.
And say some of the participants in this webinar are themselves menstrual health educators. What do you feel like are the most important points to drive home um, when we're trying to educate youth or women on menstrual health?
Hmm. The most important point is, first we should tell them that it is not something to be, embarrassed about, or to be shy about. And if they have any problems in their cycles, if they're experiencing anything like a pain or a heavy cycle, or passing clots, they should come out openly. And especially young girls, they should go tell their parents and ask them to, if the problem is getting repeated, they should ask them to take them to a doctor. And there's nothing to be shy about talking about your periods or cycles and this thing. And second thing is, it's very important to keep your hygiene intact during menstruation, because a poor hygiene can be a source of infection, which can be problematic later. And we have seen, because of the improper hygiene, people going into the state of infection, and the infection spreads through uh, the body, and they come to us in a very bad state. I mean, what we call is that a sepsis. The infection generally spreads throughout the body, and where that's when we have to admit them and give them very high antibiotics. So hygiene part is very important. And then to use something which is comfortable for them, either a cloth or a pad or a cup or a tampon, whichever is comfortable for them. But that also should be they should be educated about how to use it. Generally, for the young girls, when they get it for the first time, the mothers educate them, but it is very important that they get the right education about what to use and how to use, so that from next time they can be on their own. And in especially for the adolescent girls, in schools they should be provided, I mean, the restrooms should be very hygienic, so that they don't catch any infection from restrooms. And they should be provided places, places in the restroom where they can dispose the sanitary pad or tampon or whatever, and whatever they are using. And so that in case the need be, they want to change it, so they should be provided those places. And they should be given proper privacy. And that's all. That's the main thing. I mean, they need to learn about the menstrual hygiene from the very first day, so that, because this process is like it's gonna come every month. And then, they should learn from the very beginning how to handle it, and not to be embarrassed or shy about it. I think that is the most important thing.
Wonderful. Do you have any suggestions on
So
how?
I just wanted to add, this is Daya here. I just want to come in. Autumn, is that okay? Um,
Yeah, go ahead.
so yeah, so a lot of the community that we cater to, the young girls who are getting their period for the first time, who are reaching menarche, many of them get the information in when they're in school, right? And many of them also have access to pads through the school system, especially in the lower socioeconomic strata that we're talking about. And in the current situation, um, the schools are not open, so they're not in school, so many of them are missing out on that information, also maybe access to pads. So it is a significant challenge, and I think finding some ways to share this with the group will be very, very useful. But in this kind of context, do you have any thoughts or advice on providing this basic education to young adolescent girls who are supposed to be in school, but because of various reasons right now they're not? So
Yeah.
how what can frontline workers do to maybe not just answer questions, but maybe do like a small group discussion or some um, knowledge sharing
Yeah.
exercises, that something that could be done? I'm just thinking out loud actually here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that kind of group discussions would help. Like, the forming some, small groups, and, targeting some young girls who just about, just attained their menarche or about to attain their menarche. And, probably they can ask their mothers also to join, since it's a group discussion, and they can basically talk about what is menstruation and how it is a normal phenomenon to go through, and then maybe they can talk about this thing, about the how important is menstrual hygiene on those 4 to 5 days, and what kind of products are available in the market, like pads or tampons, and I think, yeah, those are there, and they're not going to open in the next probably 2-3 months. So that's a good idea.
Thank you. And maybe we could have, once we have this session uploaded on YouTube, they could use this
Yeah,
to share it
definitely.
with
Yeah,
them
yeah.
as well. And
I've used quite a bit of pictures, which is like self-explanatory, and I think even the young girls would be able to understand those pictures, and try to interpret what exactly we're trying to tell them about hygiene and this thing, not to be shy or embarrassed about their cycles.
right, thank you.
And as far as um, trying to destigmatize menstruation, do you have any ideas for any particular techniques that menstrual health educators or frontline workers can use to do that, as opposed to just verbally saying, you shouldn't be shy about periods, it's a normal thing? Do you have any ideas for how we can make that, a little less scary for, um, women learning about?
Yeah, I think if they just kind of know about it a little beforehand, before they attain menarche, I mean, just to make them, just to prepare them before they actually experience it, I think they would kind of be, they would be mentally prepared, and they would take it much better. And I feel the stigma would be less if they are like, more mentally ready and prepared for it, because okay, and now I'm gonna get it probably next 6 months or 8 months. And and then talking in the family, probably to the elder sister or mother, that okay, they've been having it since so many years. It is something like which comes for to every female. I think they should be like kind of this thing more aware about it. I think that then they will be like they'll not be so embarrassed, or the stigma would be, I feel it would be a little bit less than usual, to make them prepare beforehand, before they really get there, before they attain their menarche, a little beforehand, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Does anybody else in the audience have any other questions for Dr. Pooja? Otherwise, we'll start wrapping up. So I'll just allow a couple minutes for people to ask any more questions that they have. I think one last question from my side is, given the current
Yeah.
circumstances of COVID-19, is there any particular advice you would offer women during this time to maintain proper menstrual hygiene or maintain, um, you know, female wellness? If there's any sort of tip or advice you would give for women during this time.
This time I know, because basically for the for the healthcare workers it is important, because since they are outside and they're wearing that personal protective equipment, and maintaining the hygiene becomes a big challenge for them. So I mean, they really need to have good facilities for for in, like to go and change, and in case they're not comfortable to this thing, to just take a break. That is important. And for some, like for the general population, I don't think there's anything like specific during this COVID time. Yeah, I'm sure they're missing on those school and those education, which is like menstrual education, which is a part of school curriculum. So that's what probably the frontline workers can approach them, and have some small discussions, and um, just talk about it very normally, so that they don't get stigmatized, that okay, something this is something which is very odd, this is something which is very normal, and we should talk about it as we talk about our hairstyle or our makeup.
Yeah, I
Hi.
love that. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to ask just a discussion part. I would like to, in these early days, say like the first day and the second day, most of us have at least some heavy, bleeding.
Well,
So, in our, when we were teenagers, mother used to advise us not to exert ourselves physically,
hmm,
take
hmm,
rest like that.
hmm, hmm.
But then, owing to this stressful life, we are accustomed to, just wear pads and do our normal duties. So,
Yes.
does it have any effect on our health? Because nowadays, even the schoolgirl also, they cannot take leave or whatever those days,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
they have to go on with the life. So,
Uh,
does it have any effect on the girl's health?
No,
Because nowadays,
actually, proper saying, physical activity does not have any impact on your like flow or this thing on the first or second day, or moreover the third day.
yeah,
We advise, the more you are active, the more you are less likely to get any hormonal imbalance in your body, and the less likely that your periods will be regular or the irregular, or the flow will be either way too heavy or too less, because too heavy flow and too less flow is generally associated with hormonal imbalance. But physical activity is not related to the menstrual flow. That is definitely proven. It used to
Okay.
be a
Like,
stigma or a myth before, even my mother used to tell me, like, don't exert yourself and all those
yeah,
things,
yeah.
but it is not true. Yeah, it is not true.
Okay. So we were thinking like if it is that, so then at least 1 day leave can be, we can at least ask for 1 day leave.
But
But
it
we are
is
not
not
getting.
related. I mean, because even we, I mean, when we have to do night duties and this thing, and we get this thing, but then it's not possible for us to take leave after a certain point of time. And maybe when you are at the junior level, then, but then when we enter this field, it's like leave becomes a far this thing far from reality.
Yeah, yeah, but at least we
I
at
know
least we
it
feel
is
it is
kind of
static.
irritating to work, yeah,
Yeah.
to work when you have a heavy flow and this thing, but then it's nothing like it. We should just keep going.
Thank you.
No problem. Most welcome.
Any final questions before we wrap up? Or last words from Dr. Pooja?
I think that's what the take home message. I already said that the right education is very important, and education starts very much from the own house itself. If they are educated well by their elder siblings or by their mothers about the menstrual this thing, and not to get stigmatized about it, I think I know, I do understand that teachers and school also have a major role to play, but education starts right from home. So I would request everyone, whoever have daughters, or daughter like this thing probably in and around, or your siblings have daughters, please educate when they start reaching the age of menarche. Please educate them properly about what it is, and it is a very normal phenomena which all females undergo, and to maintain a good hygiene. And that's all. I think that is when the starting is important.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Dr. Pooja, for taking the time to be here with us for this
Welcome. Thank you
Q&A.
all of you for thank you all of you whoever have joined. Thank you all of you for joining. And if anybody has any questions, please you can approach me. No. Thank you, Autumn. Thank you,
Yeah,
Dr. Daya, for giving me this opportunity to talk to people and about such an important topic, because people are so shy to talk about it. I mean the general population. So it's very important for us to just put in their mind that there's nothing to be shy or embarrassed about talking about their own menstruation or menstrual hygiene and this thing, the cycles.
Thank you so much also for giving your time.
Yeah, thank you.
enjoy the rest of your evening, everybody, and we will be back soon with some more Speak for Health series and period junction workshops. Thank you, Dr. Pooja, again. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Autumn. Thank you, Dr. Daya. Thank you. Bye bye.